What up, people? It's Nickopz here, and today I got with me MKTomBrady, and he is going to be talking about a story today where he was a tester for an MK game. So I'm just going to let him completely have the floor because this story seemed great, and I want to hear the whole thing. So you got it, Brady. Take it away.
So during the testing of MKX, one of our final days there, everyone, if you guys are not familiar with MKX, there was a thing called a block breaker, which allowed you to do a breaker while you were blocking. And the point of that was to get you out of certain death on chip situations. You can do a breaker on block, which you couldn't do in MK9. So they added that in MKX. One day we come, in there and we're playing, and Rio and J360 are getting accidental block breaker. And they're like, what is happening here? So we all come over and we're looking at it. And what happened was Rio was blocking something and he released block and tried to jump and he got a block breaker. And we're trying to figure out what happened, what's going on. So it turns out the block breaker command, which was just block and then tap forward, all of a sudden it was block and then tap up. So MK, there's a small buffer window. You release block and try to jump too quickly, it would still give you the block breaker because it was block and then up. Ed Boon, we were like, how did it get changed? What happened? So we bring Ed Boon in, Paulo Garcia, John Edwards, the two lead designers at the time, along with Ed Boon. And we're like, what happened? So they tell us Ed Boon changed it because some button mashing artist who has no idea how to play the fucking game was button mashing and kept getting a block breaker by accident, mashing all the buttons in forward, and he's tapping block and he's like, what am I getting this block breaker? So Ed Boon decided, we have to do something where it doesn't come out by accident. But we were trying to tell Ed, it's still coming out by accident because you're releasing block and jumping too soon. Sometimes you get it accidentally. So we're like, well, it should be, and Ed Boon's like, I don't know, I whatever. So we're like, why don't we make it something where there's no, well, first of all, doing anything according to someone that's just mashing buttons who doesn't know the game, that's ridiculous. But that just goes to show you how much they cater to the casual player who knows nothing about fighting games, especially the current game. So we're like, okay, why don't we just make it a command that there's no, and it was all the testers in the Sub-Zero conference room. That's where we tested. Ironically, that's not a Sub-Zero pun. We all tested in the Sub-Zero conference room. Just as to my Sub-Zero lore. So we're explaining to Ed, okay, why don't we make it something to where it can't be accidental, like you're blocking, then you've got to hit forward and then hit the stance change button, the worthless stance change button. This way, there's no way it could come out by accident. The player has to know they were doing a block breaker intentionally. So then Ed grabs the controller and he starts making this face and he goes, so my finger on my right hand is on the trigger. And then with my left hand, I'm hitting forward. And then my other finger on the left hand has to hit the L2 button and I'm doing the two hands and the multiple fingers. That just feels...
I'm copying it with my controller now.
Right. It just feels a little too hard. And we're like, Ed, is that what And it was like the two hands and the three fingers and this and the forward and the left finger has to come up. And, I don't
Y'all heard his brain.
I mean, it was like a big conversation. And finally, we convinced him to stick with that. Like, that's the guy that has the final say. That guy. If you ever wonder why your games in Mortal Kombat turn out the way they do, that guy. Also, Ed Boon, in Injustice 1, interactables were unblockable, but they only did 5%. So it was no big deal. We're like, okay, unblockable, I got it. You got Superman throwing shit at you, it is what it is. After we left, Ed Boon decided, you know what? These interactables aren't good enough. Make them 20% to 30%. So when we would contact people there afterwards, like, what happened? When we left, this didn't happen. They were like, Ed Boon, man, Ed Boon. Like, this is the guy, Ed Boon, That guy. And here's one more story for Ed Boon.
There's a new class of
I remember I was telling Ed, I said, hey, with your inputs, down forward. I know you like the simple down forward. The problem is sometimes you're hitting down on the pad and your MK inputs, the diagonal will register down forward. So if you're tapping down, but your thumb happens to graze more right or left, it will give you the down forward or down back. I'm like, did you ever think about making the input less sensitive, or making sure you had to hit down then forward or down then back, and you couldn't combine them at the same time, like an angle motion to get the move by accident? And here's what Ed Boon goes, well, I just certainly don't want someone that can't do a fireball getting turned off by not being able to do it and playing Mortal Kombat. And I was like, Ed.
Oh, please tell me you're trolling.
No, honest to God. I said, Ed, if they can't do a fireball, they shouldn't be playing fighting games. That's what I told Ed.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Yes.
This explains so much.
And then Ed Boon then told me, why do you think in the arcade all of Liu Kang's moves were forward, forward? He said, because I just wanted someone to come on the arcade machine, and this was his quote, I wanted someone on the arcade machine and go, what the, and mash forward in the buttons and get the moves out. And I was going, oh my God, everything makes sense to me now. In this moment, all the questions I've had are answered.
Oh my God.
This is the guy. This guy.
He made that noise and everything.
Yes. By the way, an MK2, the what? That's Ed Boon's voice. He was the voice of Scorpion and did that. And he made that noise right there.
Oh.
And I was like,
I don't know whether this is funny or sad. I don't know which one. Oh gosh. Oh crap.
I mean, it was, and the testing of MK9 was rough because the beta was like almost unplayable. I mean, we're there to play the beta, right? We're there as guest testers. We only have 1 week. And there are so many block infinites to the point that we had to start making unwritten rules just to play the game. So it's like, what? How do we know anything if we have to make a rule book, assuming what's going to be changed, right? So finally, at the end of the week, they just weren't giving us an updated build. I go over to the designer area and I said, is there anybody here that has the power to change anything before we leave? Because your game right now is unplayable without custom rules. And they got mad at me, but I didn't give a fuck. Because
who got mad at you?
The designers. But how are we supposed to test the game? And I know I didn't mean to be insulting. I was just trying to get us an updated version without all the block infinites in so we could play without unwritten rules. Without, you know what I mean? Also, there's one more funny story. So MK9 had I don't want to put the person's name on blast. Let's just say he's the designer. The first day of MK9, Conqueror, the negative edge was so bad, Conqueror, one of the testers, guest testers, was trying to do Sub-Zero's ground puddle, which was, I think, down back 3. Trying to do it on block, because I think the ground puddles were on block. He was trying to see, can you 2-in-1 it on block and do something cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was doing down 1, down back 3. But when he did down 1, down back 3, he kept getting down 1 clone. Now, anyone who understands fighting games knows what was actually happening. But I'm standing behind Conqueror asking this designer. He goes, why is this happening? I'm trying to do puddle. I'm doing down 1, down back 3. Why am I getting down 1 clone? The designer said, we just don't want you to be able to do down 1, something like that into ground puddle on block. So I'm standing there and I go, did you just give him the wrong explanation? And the designer's like, what? So you know what I did? Down 3, down back 3 for the ground puddle. And it came out. I said, clearly, it's not to not have this come out on block. I said, the reason why it's happening is your negative edge is too big.
Mm-hmm.
So when he does down 1, down back 3, the 3 never registers because the 1 is saved for so long in your negative edge. He's doing down 1, down back, and the game is saying down 1, down back, 1 is still stored. It must be down back 1 clone. Your negative edge is too big. They didn't even fucking know the reason this shit was happening.
What did he say after you corrected him?
Nothing.
That's ridiculous. Like,
and make sure
it sounds like you're lying, but I know you're not lying. Trust me, I know you're not. I know you're not.
Conqueror will swear. Conqueror, I don't know if you watch these videos, brother. I know he's retired a long time ago. I'm telling you, and cut this video out to a separate video. Just me talking about the Ed Boon stories, the NRS stories, because this will make people really understand what the fuck is happening there.
I'm just still trying to process, like, a designer didn't know what negative edge was.
Yes, it's that bad.
Like, that's literally a core element.
They just didn't know that's why it was happening. Or they didn't want to admit that's why it was happening. It was a clear problem.
It was just one person that didn't know, or the whole team didn't know, or you didn't get to find that out?
The person that was standing there, the Conqueror, asked that it. And I don't want to say who it was.
Wait, would I know who it was?
Everybody would know who it was.
I really want to know now, but I know you're gonna do it.
I can't say it. It's
what game was it? What game was
MK9.
Everybody know who it was.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't who you think, because people will be like, oh, it must be Stephanie. No, Stephanie wasn't a tester yet. I know people like to blow Stephanie up all the time. No, it wasn't Stephanie. No, it wasn't Derek. No, it wasn't Tyler. It wasn't any of that.
Was it a pro player?
No.
Okay,
it was a very well-known designer. Still well-known by most people today.
Okay. I'll think about that later.
Yeah. But yeah, it's getting a little late. I appreciate you having me on. Please cut this out separately.
No, I already got it cut out. It's already cut out. It's its own video.
Make sure and put this up first. Right away.
Of course.
I gotta hear people's reaction to this shit, man. I gotta hear people's reaction to this. I got a lot more stories, but these are the 3, like, oh, now it makes a lot of sense.
So we can say that for another stream. This was great. I definitely got to get another stream in with you. This is actually great.
Definitely. I appreciate you having me on, though, Nick, man. It was a good talk, good conversation.
Yeah, great time.
All right, thanks for having me, brother.
All right. Hope you have a good day.
You too. Later.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed the video. That was a very, very eye-opening story. It's like one of those stories you almost can't believe, but I know he's telling the truth. I know he is, because everything is making so much sense. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And Nickopz out.